morning, Emerson. Today is Thursday, April 17th. Boston police detonated 2 backpacks left by the Boston Marathon finish line Tuesday night. Brianna Baxter will have more details on this story coming up.
Do you hear that? Those are Pharrell's tears. Have no fear, though. They're happy tears. Christian Mudrick will have more on why the star broke down.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Brittany and Douieb.
And I'm Mike Canalupo. Welcome to Good Morning, Emerson. We have a great show today. We have music, live music in studio, and not only just live music from the greatest name band I've ever heard, River and the Hightops.
We heard them a little bit before the show started, and they sound fantastic.
They're funky, they're soulful. Oh, they're so good.
Love it. You know, we also love Lloyd Mallison, who's also taking us on a tour of Boston's history a little bit. He's going to be taking us around the historic parts of the city. You know, Lloyd had to brave some bad weather out there, but he still managed to do it, still managed to put together a great package. We're really proud of him.
Lloyd always finds a way to impress. But then we also have Victor Douieb in studio, who is a professional sculptor and has a talk tonight at the New England Aquarium. We were talking to him before. He does some really, really interesting work.
Absolutely. He's also a conservationist, which is interesting how he combines the two in order to raise awareness about different animals. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
But before we get started with that, here's Brie Baxter with all your top stories.
Good morning. On the one-year anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombings, the city showed how Boston strong it really is. But the day was not completely free of controversy. Footage of one of 2 backpacks being detonated at the finish line on Tuesday. A man is in custody after placing one of the bags there and then walking down Boylston shouting "Boston strong." He was barefoot and wearing a long black veil. The man has been identified as 25-year-old Kevin Edson. Edson told police there was just a rice cooker and confetti in the bag. As a precaution, police detonated the bags and temporarily shut down the T near the finish line. The other bag was mistakenly placed there by a news team the day before. Police are not expecting any more attacks as this year's marathon day approaches. In South Korea, 4 people are dead and nearly 300 are missing after a ferry ship quickly sank in the Yellow Sea. There were at least 164 people rescued from the sinking ship. Passengers were told over a loudspeaker to remain seated while the ship began to capsize. However, the ones that disregarded the PA announcement and fled the ship were the ones to escape. Many began jumping off the ship into the 50-degree water to nearby rescue boats. Military divers have been searching through the night for those still missing on board. A New York Police Department spy unit has been disbanded. The unit was a demographics unit that specifically monitored the Muslim community after 9/11. The group, also known as the Zone Assessment Unit, has been inactive since January, and now it is no more. The members have been reassigned within the Intelligence Bureau. Members of the Muslim community say this is the first step towards stopping the practice of spying on people based on their religious beliefs. And Google Glass was available for the first time as a one-day offer. Google is not releasing its sales numbers, but it looks like they sold quite a few of the $1,500 face-mounted computers, or at least enough to sell out in white. The Google Glass sale was only available online, so there were no crazy lines of people waiting to get a pair. Google has drawn out launching the Glass for consumers so it could improve its features. The most updated version of the Glass is expected to be out at the end of the year. That is all the time I have for news. Back to Brittany and Mike.
Thanks, Brie. Now, I have one question for you. If you had Google Glass, what would you use it for?
Well, I do not support playing Tetris while driving, so I would say I would use my Google Glass actually to read off the teleprompter. I think we could just do away with that, and I would just view it up in the corner of my eye.
Okay, narrate your entire life.
You'd have a consistent teleprompter throughout your life.
Always.
Teleprompting your life. I know you're so scared of Google Glass. I
don't
love
like
it, though. Now, switching over to the marathon finish line, do you think that the backpacks being dropped there are actually going to stop people from coming to the marathon on Monday?
I think that police handled the situation very quickly and diffused it safely for everyone, and I think that it might have make some people not want to go to the finish line just because of last year's events. But I think for the most part, people are feeling pretty confident that this year will be safe and that we can support the runners. So
it's all about support in the end.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bree. Now, I feel like Boston is just playing a huge joke on us. Like, woo, spring is here, but just kidding, back to freezing temperatures. What's going on, Lloyd?
Good morning, guys. You thought you were safe, didn't you? Well, Boston thought otherwise. I don't know what's happened to our beautiful spring weather. We seem to have regressed. I think this has something to do with me about to go back in the open, but seriously, our temperatures have dipped significantly. However, hope is not lost, but bear with me. Today will be a chilly 45 degrees at its highest point. Morning clouds will make way for streaming sunshine in the afternoon, but do not be fooled. You're going to need your coat, I promise. There'll be a little bit of wind to battle too, but nothing like we saw on Tuesday. I was at Copley Square for the anniversary proceedings, and without exaggerating, it was like being in a wind tunnel. Thankfully, nothing quite like that today. Tonight, temps are going to dip even further to 35. That's a little too close to freezing for my liking, especially this near the end of April. But we will be staying dry for the foreseeable future, with no rain predicted for the next week or so. Sunset will be about 7:30, but I can't imagine anybody will be trying to stay out to enjoy the sun today anyway. Tomorrow, again, cold weather with a windy 45 in Boston, which, although not that strong, will make the temperature feel even colder, especially at that Boylston-Tremont intersection. Again, following the pattern of AM clouds, giving way to weak but dry sunshine for the remainder of the afternoon. The 5-day forecast is where it begins to pick up, though. Temperatures starting to improve over the weekend as we creep back into the 50s with minimal chances of rain that steadily improve till we're back to our scheduled programming of spring 60s, which I think we can all agree are deserved at this point. I know a lot of people have been putting their fridge and their heaters and their patio warmers on full blast in the hope of inspiring some global warming up here in New England. Either way, it's worked. So while the colder temperatures are going to be seeing us out this week, we should be finishing the school year with some pleasant weather. Guys, I have to say, it has been so much fun being in studio with you guys. Can't believe I have to go out and shoot in that cold again. Woohoo. A very sad Lloyd Mallison. Back over to you guys, Brittany and Mike. I'll miss you.
Miss you too, Lloyd.
Thanks, Lloyd. You've been great. Now, I didn't actually just gain like
You're
7 inches of
a little
height.
taller.
There's somebody behind me, and it's the former host is back from the castle, and we just want to talk to you about your experience.
Oh man, I don't.
So all about it, please. 'Cause
Exactly.
We've seen it all from Facebook. You've had the
course.
time of your life, but I want to hear it all.
It was just amazing. It really is such an interesting experience. The Castle program, it's 3 months of everything you can imagine just packed in, and it sounds super cliche, but you actually do learn a lot about yourself, and you learn a lot about the people you're with. And I took a solo trip my last weekend, and being able to travel by yourself is really just an eye-opening experience.
Where did you travel to?
Ooh, okay, I went to a lot of cities. There was Amsterdam, Paris, Edinburgh, Scotland, Prague, then Madrid, Barcelona, Morocco, and oh man, Dublin. I went to Germany to visit friends. I went to Tuscany as well. It was
You
a
rode
lot.
a camel in Morocco, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw that.
I loved your profile pictures. Every week you had a new profile picture from a new country, eating a baguette in front of the Eiffel Towers.
Right.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I kind of started this Instagram hashtag Little Maggie Big,
Big
World.
World.
I can't
know,
get it.
I love it.
It's too cute.
I
I
love
can't
it.
do it.
It was sort of just a joke for myself at first, but
Right.
turned out to be a lot of fun.
Now I have to ask you, what was your favorite moment, or what was your favorite place in the trip?
There are probably so many though.
There's so many, and it's hard to choose, but honestly, Morocco. We went to Marrakesh, Morocco, and it was just
Morocco.
it was just such a different experience than everything else. Culturally, it's a different world. It's a prominently Islamic country, so it's very different once you start walking around, and then you go into the markets and you have to barter for different things, and that's where I rode the camel too. So it was just definitely culture shock, but in the best way imaginable.
Oh my God, I'm so happy you did that.
Hey, you're the best. I'm so glad that you're back.
I'm glad to be back.
But when we come back, sculptor Victor Douieb will be in studio, so don't move a muscle so he could properly sculpt you.
Welcome back, everyone. We're joined by Victor Douieb, who is a sculptor and conservationist. He just so happens to also love one of my favorite animals, which is sharks. And I just want to thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks so
You're
much.
very welcome.
Now, I'm going to ask you, now we both have something in common. We're both obsessed with sharks, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah.
So where did this love for the deep sea predator come from?
You know, as long as I remember, I've been in love with shark. Probably since my first dive when I was 16 years old in Egypt. And I've been in love since, and I've been sculpting sharks since probably 6 years now, only 6 years.
Wow.
So tell us a little bit about your process. How do you go about finding an animal to sculpt and then also the actual sculpting process itself?
Okay, well, I don't really choose what I want to sculpt. So I'm doing what I like to do, diving or going to safari or connect with some animal. And when I get the connection, I get obsessed about it. I go underwater with my camera, I take as many pictures as I can, and I start the process. The process starts with a picture first.
So you take your own pictures. You have your own images.
I have my own images, but also I know a lot of people in the diving world. So if I need some detail that I don't have, I just contact anybody and I just say I need this or that.
That's so interesting.
Now, these sculptures are absolutely beautiful, but you're also a conservationist yourself. So
Yeah.
how do you combine these two things together?
As an artist, I think the best way for me to help conservation is to show my work. You know, I'm not a scientific, so I can't really talk about science and research. So what I do, I show my work and I find a way to make people appreciate what I do, so maybe they conserve it.
Right.
If my piece became the last shark in the world, that's going to be terrible.
Right.
So if they like what I do, maybe they are more interested about looking or finding more about it.
Find a way to
Right.
spark
Yeah,
some
yeah,
interest.
yeah.
Absolutely.
How long do these things take to make? Like, let's talk about a large one, like a really big piece.
Right.
The biggest piece is probably a bull shark, about this big. It took
Okay.
me
Wow.
about almost 3 months to make it.
Wow.
And,
That's incredible because you
crazy.
look at some of these pieces and you don't realize how much work is involved.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why people don't know about it. So when they find out how many steps there is before the finished product,
Right.
from the creation of the piece, first actually taking picture,
Wow.
creating the piece, making the mold, getting the wax, cleaning the wax, casting, grinding,
so much.
welding, and
So
putting the
much.
patina. It's a lot
So
of work.
you're speaking tonight at the aquarium,
Yes,
correct?
yeah.
All right. So please, guys, check him out. Victor is a great, great man. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much
You're very welcome.
for
Thank
being on the
you.
show. Now, the Sox played the Sox last night, and the Sox won. Bianca Bono will make sense of that for you.
Thank you and good morning. The Boston Red Sox are in Chicago right now and took on the White Sox last night for the second game of this three-game series. They were looking to break their three-game losing streak. Kicking things off in the bottom of the first, Buchholz is on the mound. Jose Abreu hits it on the ground to Ryan Roberts, but he throws it away. The White Sox tie it up 1-1, but in the bottom of the sixth, Alexei Ramirez crushes this ball to left field. Chicago takes the lead. We are going into extra innings in this one. Bottom of the 11th inning, Tyler Flowers sneaks it past Bogarts. They tie the Sox 4-4. But bottom of the 14th, JBJ with another chance to prove himself, and he comes through this time. He hits the double to score the winning run, and Boston wins this one 6-4. The NBA regular season is officially over. All 30 games played last night in the last day for the 14 the teams that are heading to the playoffs. Unfortunately, or fortunately for our Boston Celtics fans, this season is over. After a tough season for rebuilding, the C's didn't make the playoffs. The Indiana Pacers and San Antonio Spurs are the #1 teams headed into the postseason. The playoff action begins this weekend. In other news, college athletics has been a hot topic of discussion throughout the past couple of months. In the recent NCAA men's tournament, controversy sparked when UConn star Shabazz Napier said that he sometimes goes to bed hungry. While many college athletes receive full-ride scholarships, they don't have physical money for food. The newest development following Shabazz's statement is that the NCAA has deemed that there will be no ban on the amount of food a program can provide its athletes. Prior to this, athletes on scholarship received a meal plan that included 3 meals per day or a meal stipend. Now the limit is gone for both scholarship and walk-on players. This will hopefully prevent any athletes from going hungry in the future. Now to the hottest topic in sports and in our great city, the Boston Marathon. It's been just over a year since a bomb disrupted the 117th marathon last year, but the focus is back on the runners that have been training for months and years for this moment. And this year it's personal. There are 36,000 registered runners, which is the most since 1996. 5,000 of those runners were stopped short last year due to the tragedy. Due to the high number of runners, unregistered runners or bandits will not be allowed in the race. An American has not won the marathon since the 1980s, but several U.S. Olympic runners will be competing this year. That is all of the time I have in sports today. Be sure to support these incredible athletes on Monday. Mike and Brittany, back to you.
Thanks, Bianca.
Now, I know you're an incredible athlete yourself. You're a softball superstar. So do you think this was a good move by the NCAA to expand meal plans?
I do. You know, I think it's really sad when you hear these amazing athletes that you kind of look at as celebrities on the screen talking about how they go to bed hungry sometimes. What's also so great about this new proposed plan is that not only will this affect the athletes on scholarship, it will also provide meals for walk-on athletes, which before this they didn't have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Bianca. Now, everyone's favorite wrecking ball riding superstar was actually hospitalized earlier this week. Christian, is she going to be okay?
Miley Cyrus has been hospitalized after having a severe allergic reaction to her antibiotics. The pop star recently had to cancel a show in Charlotte, North Carolina due to falling ill with sinus infection. Now, only 2 weeks later, Miley has canceled 2 more shows, one in Kansas City and one in St. Louis because of her hospitalization. Apparently, the singer wasn't too sick to tweet because she kept her fans posted with how heartbroken she was about missing these shows, and she debunked a few rumors about her not actually being sick on Twitter. Luckily, the star isn't sick and lonely, for she has tweeted numerous times about a small green octopus that she calls Mr. Octopussy, who keeps her company. Apparently, Smokey the Bear, Pharrell, isn't always happy. The singer, whose recent Oscar-nominated hit Happy appeared in an interview with Oprah earlier this week, where he opened up about the recent success of his song.
Putting up their own videos.
Yeah.
It was like no longer my song.
Yeah. I think we actually have a tape. Can we roll the tape of that?
Take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space.
Makes me cry too. Makes me cry too.
For the rest of the interview, Pharrell continued crying. Oprah continued saying, "It's beautiful," in several different octaves, and then Pharrell finally commented, "Why am I crying on Oprah?" The continuation of The Fast and the Furious has been green-lighted after production halted when lead actor Paul Walker died last November. Producers of the movie said that continuing was, quote, the only choice. Luckily for the producers, most of the dramatic scenes featuring Walker had been completed with only a few gaps in some of the action sequences. For those gaps, Paul Walker's brothers Caleb and Cody Walker will fill in as needed. The movie was originally set to be released this summer, however, due to recent events, will be released next April. Rumors in Australia surfaced recently that rock group AC/DC will be retiring after a long and prosperous career. These rumors were based around some potential health concerns for one of the members of the group. Since these rumors have come to fruition, the lead singer Brian Johnson has actually debunked them. Johnson came out and said that AC/DC is still going strong and is actually planning on getting together to record a new album soon. Johnson continued by saying that the group is going to assemble in Vancouver in May to start jamming. He says, if anything happens, we'll record it. Despite Brian debunking the retirement rumors, the health concerns still stand true. Guitarist Malcolm Young has been suffering from an unknown illness, but Johnson is confident that this is not the end of the road for the band. That's all the juicy gossip I have. Back to you on the Rock Stars on the Couch.
Oh, it's all right. That's all right.
Oh, they were like wrapping me up. I'm like, it was a mouthful.
Now, okay, I have to ask you, how do you feel about the decision to continue The Fast and Furious after Paul Walker's death?
Good. I mean, like, you shouldn't spend the money on like 75% of a movie if you're not going to finish it. So, good, I suppose.
Right.
I don't think they should have continued the franchise after Tokyo Drift, but like, finish the movie, I suppose.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christian. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, River and the Hightops is going to be jamming out in studio. Welcome back. Now, if you were sad to hear that this is Lloyd's last day as weather correspondent, why? Anyway, here he is as our travel correspondent, giving us a brief history of Boston.
In addition to the Boston Marathon, Monday is also Patriots' Day, which means we get the day off school. Also, historically, Patriots' Day was the first battle in the Revolutionary War. Coincidentally, Patriots' Day was also the first day Britain decided we'd rather keep India as a colony anyway. But I'm going to try and keep my feelings in check and take you on a tour of Boston's more historic side. Sticking around the North End, we're at an old church, conveniently named the Old North Church. This was the location from which Paul Revere went running after the famous 1 if by land, 2 if by sea signal was sent, which led to the first open battle between the British and the traitors. So, a church led to a battle. I thought Jesus was a pacifist. Revere was a revolutionary, most famous for his midnight ride, which gave away the British's sneak attack. So thanks for that one, Paul. But we're back now. Ha 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 ha! The house has since been turned into a museum that can be toured for a very small fee. A few hundred years ago, this was the Massachusetts State House, but now, this is the coolest subway station in the world. This one has a little less gold on the roof than the current one, but it's a little more Emersonian themed, as it has a unicorn and a lion on it. Incidentally, this is also the site of the Boston Massacre. Sorry about that. Sorry about all this. Yeah, sorry. Sorry. Welcome to our next landmark, the Old South Meeting House. Located in what's now Downtown Crossing, this is where the idea for the Boston Tea Party was first formed. So thanks a lot for that one. Seriously, why? That was such a waste of good tea. But we got our own back when we gutted it and rode horses in it when we occupied Boston. Nowadays it's a museum and the scene of the annual Boston Tea Party reenactment. So, you know, great. Thanks for rubbing salt in the wound. It sounds a little cliche to say, but genuinely one of my favorite things about this city is the way the history layers just sort of collide to make this beautifully architectured city. I've really enjoyed exploring this side of it today, and I hope you guys have too. So, from 1776, back to you guys in the studio, I'm Lloyd Mallison.
Thank you so much, Lloyd. Now here we're joined by River and the Hightops. So excited to hear you guys play. Can you tell us a little bit about the song that you're about to perform for us?
Yeah, this next one is a tuner called Love Fool, and it's pretty self-descriptive, so just listen to it.
All right, rock it, guys. High fives.
Yeah.
Yeah, rock it. See ya.
Cool.
1, 2. See, I think I'm in love with a lesbian, and I know that it's not alright. But there is just something about this lesbian that it keeps me up at night. Maybe it's the way that she flips her hair when she gets out of the pool. But let me tell you one time, baby girl, you got me as your fool. You love fool doo 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 da doo doo doo. So I'm sure I'm in love with a lesbian, and I know that it's not okay. Usually I like to keep it platonic, but this one got away. Maybe it's the way that she says my name, cause it sends chills down my spine. I find that I spend most of my time daydreaming, as if you were mine. I'm wasting all of my ta-da-da-da-da-da-da, yeah. She's got me talking like bottom, 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 see ba 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 see ba 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 yeah. I think I'm gonna propose to a lesbian, cause I want her to be my wife. I know that it's different, but I think that we are gonna have a splendid life. Maybe it's because we both like watching Emma Stone movies, yeah. All she's gotta say is hi for me to begin love fooling. I'm drooling, maybe spooning, mooning, honeymooning in my head with you and me, darling, darling. Come and get your wedding ring, yeah. That's why I'm talking like so she said yes. I guess I'm just a love fool over you.
Okay.
That was awesome.
So we're going to have you guys send us out with one more song. But thanks for watching. Good morning, Emerson. Have a great weekend. And what's the name of this next song?
This next one is American Spirit.
All right, take it away.
Awesome.
Yeah, you get high fives. High fives all
Rock
around.
it,
Here we
guys.
go.
1, 2, 3. Blonde hair, blue eyes, thin thighs, bitch smiles, walking model, liquor bottle. Can't you see that she full throttle? She got a daddy, did it down on his knees, begging to satisfy every one of her needs. She's not American girl, a American girl's a mess. Yeah, every day, yeah, she likes to play, but in a different way. Oh, sure, she'd like you to stay. She's that Los Angeles girl, LA, Los Angeles girls, LA, Say, oh my God, oh my God, can I bum a cigarette to get you killing bud? Yeah, oh my God, oh my God, can you see that she has got that American spirit? If you can't see it, then you hear it. And I can tell you kind of feel it. Yeah, that American spirit. He's a tall, tan, thin man, lives his life no rap.